If you're watching this video, the chances are you probably haven't gotten serious about marketing your business yet, but you want to. You want to get more customers and you want to share your story and really be authentic. You don't want to post content that comes off as salesy and unoriginal. You want to be yourself, but still have it be good. And that's what I want to talk about today. I think that one of the most under-leveraged opportunities out there right now is documenting your journey. The fact is, people don't trust you because you tell them to trust you. People trust you because you show them they can trust you. And people relate to stories and people trust stories. So what I want to challenge you to do is, instead of thinking about how can I convert this awareness and this attention into a customer, instead think about what stories can I share? What parts of my journey can I show? They're going to help create trust amongst my audience. So when I offer them something that I have to sell, they're more likely to buy it from me. When I was first starting off in this business, it was 965 days ago. I literally just asked my Meta glasses how many days ago September 1st of 2022 was, and it was 965 days ago. When I first started my business, I started it with the mission of helping realtors stop posting that boring content like just listed, open houses, just sold, and all that stuff that got 1 or 2 or 3 likes. And I wanted to help them post content that showed who they were. But when I first started off, I didn't have a ton of comfortability. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, so I had a really hard time posting content out there and sharing my journey. But if I was to literally rewind back to 965 days ago, the thing that I needed to avoid thinking was I need to be the expert. Because when you think that you need to be the expert, when you think that you need to be the best, what happens then is you create this barrier. You say that because I'm not the best, I can't post content because I don't want to seem like I am the best when I know that I'm not. That creates this inauthentic message. What I should have done instead is I should have talked about, hey, here's what I'm learning right now, here's what I'm doing, and here's how I'm doing it. And there's a ton of different ways to do this. And I think the number one excuse that people give is, I don't have the money to hire a team, or I don't know how to create the content. There's a lot of different ways to create content. I think that's something that we all need to understand. It's not just one way to create content. There's not just one way to create content. Despite what all of the content gurus want you to believe, you can create content in a multitude of ways and be successful with it. Now, it's important to understand that there's opportunity cost if you don't do the things that are working. For example, if you're not comfortable getting in front of the video and doing a high production video, then you're sacrificing the results of that. If you would rather do a podcast and talk just voice with no camera, you can still grow that way, but it's going to take a longer period of time. So, if I was going back to 965 days ago, starting my business, and I wanted to market myself and I wanted to document my journey and what I was doing, what I would have told myself is, look, you don't have the money right now to pay for the content team, even though that's the best way and the fastest way to do it, but you still want to document it. All you have to do is pull out your camera and record what you had done that day. Literally just record, what did you do, how did you do it, and what are you learning? If you did that every single day, post it on your story with that information, post it on Reels with that information, what happens is people are bought in to your journey and what you're going through, especially if you share the struggles. And I think that a big part about sharing your journey is you have to identify the points of uniqueness about who you are. One point of uniqueness that I had was I was a 20-year-old starting my business after I had quit my 9-to-5 job where I was making $4,000 a month. If I started my videos by sharing who I was and what made me unique, I'm a 20-year-old entrepreneur who just quit his 9-to-5 job, and here's what I learned on day 2 of starting my business. If I would have shared just that message, it doesn't pose me as the expert, which would have been inauthentic, but it poses me as who I am. And it shares the authenticity of my journey. And through that, you gain attention and people start to buy into you. And I think that's one of the things that we all need to understand. People don't just buy products. They don't just buy the best products. They buy the mission behind the product. Why do you buy Gatorade versus Prime versus Body Armor? It's not just the best product. Even though you're going to look at the sugar and all of those things and see which one's the healthiest, a lot of people buy products because of who supports them behind the scenes. That's why Gatorade partners with different athletic leagues like the NFL, like the NBA. That's why Prime, even though they're not that much different from a lot of other drinks, what makes them unique is they're supported by 2 huge creators, huge influencers, Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Logan Paul and KSI. So we have to understand that you don't need to pose yourself as the authority and be inauthentic if you're just starting out. All you need to do is share your authentic journey, be who you are, and be honest. Because if you do that, people will respect you, they will appreciate you, and they will buy into you as a fan. And through that, they will trust you and more likely buy from you, especially if you have a great product. So if you're marketing yourself and you want to brand yourself, rather than thinking about how can I be the best and how can I market myself as the best, just be honest. Just be honest and share who you are and what you do. Then, behind the scenes, you need to build the great product. And that's really the primary focus. The primary focus is building an amazing product and sharing the journey of building that product. But if you pair the authenticity and the trust with an amazing product, that's how I believe you can build an unbeatable business. So I'm going to give you 2 steps to actually sharing this journey that you're on, whether you just started your business or you're 3 years into having started your business. Step 1, you have to find some sort of team, especially if you're later down the line and you have the capital to do it. And if you don't have the capital to do it, find opportunities for people that don't just include upfront money. I'm going to give a couple of examples here. Let's say that you just started your business. Instead of thinking to yourself, well, I don't have any money, so I can't hire a team. What I would suggest that you do instead is, number 1, when you first start your business, you have to be networking, okay? Networking is a huge part of any business because business is all about people. It's the people that you hire and it's the people that buy from you. Those are the 2 components of every business. So what I suggest you do in order to find that team that's going to help you out, go talk to different people that maybe are a little bit younger than you, the same age as you, and create buy-in to your company. Because if you, as the founder, if your primary focus is, hey, look, I'm focusing on building an amazing product and getting my clients results, the last thing that you're thinking about is, well, how can I document this journey and share this journey? Yes, you can do the selfie style videos, but if you want to grow, you got to have the support. So go and talk to different people and see if you can create some sort of commission model. Hey, will you record me 1 day a week? And if you get me 100,000 views on a video, or if you get me 100,000 views from that content, I'll pay you $200. But that 100,000 views, that should convert into some sort of customer for you so you can afford that. And it's better than you having to come out of pocket and pay $1,000, $1,500, $3,000 to somebody to edit content with absolutely no guarantee of results. What you do is you take your mission, you take your energy, and you want to go and find people that are going to buy into that and want the upside opportunity of working with you to come and help solve a problem for you. It's about creativity. So rather than thinking that you have to have all this cash, create opportunity for people and inspire people to be part of what you're doing and create some upside for them. It doesn't just need to be upfront cash. And I think that's a super important concept to understand. You can do that through equity. You can do that through commissions. You can do that through bonuses. You can do that through whatever you want to, but just consider that and use AI if you really need some help coming up with different creative solutions. But networking and meeting people is super important to find that right person, and then sharing your story and your message and getting good at that. That's something that I'll talk about a different time, the importance of actually being able to share your story. Now, if you do have the cash to be able to spend on a team up front in order to grow these results, right? Here are the 2 things that I want you to focus on, 2 things that I believe in from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to add a little bonus third one in there for those of you that want to stick through the end. Number 1 is you should absolutely hire a videographer to follow you around and document what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Now, I know some of you may be sitting at your computer a lot of the time. Don't worry about that. If you sit at the computer for the majority of your time, I would honestly say that you need to be getting out more and talking to more people. That's just kind of a belief that I have. If you're the CEO of a company, I have a mentor that is worth tens of millions of dollars, has built $1 billion business. He's very successful. And his primary responsibility outside of finding deals for his real estate portfolio is talking to people and finding investors. The only way to do that is to get up and get out. If you're going to go find customers, you shouldn't just be behind your computer running ads and doing cold outreach all the time. You got to go talk to people because you got to sell, right? So go out there and meet people. But the chances are, if you are running a business that has the cash flow to be able to do this, you have projects, you have a team. Document those interactions as you're going out to different client projects, as you're interacting with your team, as you're going on meetings, meeting customers, doing those things. That's what this videographer is documenting. We've gotten tens of millions of views purely through documenting through this exact style, videoing our clients having interactions with different people, both their team, their customers, and just random people that come up and have conversations with them. People that do really, really good job of this are Gary Vee and Dan Martell. They put themselves in these positions to have interactions with people that they can document, and then they turn it into viral content. So hire a videographer. And if you're in this area, which is the Bay Area / California, you could probably hire a videographer for $3,000 to $6,000 a month, depending on the quality of work that you want done. That's not that much if you have a cash flowing business, because this will make massive returns for you in the future. So hire that videographer to document those processes and document what you're doing on a day-to-day basis to create that trust. Number 2, podcasts. Whether you want to start your own podcast or go on other people's podcasts, this is an amazing way to share your journey and share what you're doing. Not because you're doing it in real time, which is what the vlogs are. The vlogs are documenting in real time what you're doing. But the reason podcasts are awesome because it gives you the opportunity to share your story and share your epiphanies of the things that have happened. So yeah, you're not showing people exactly what you're doing, but what you can do when you do podcasts is you can share what you've learned, how you've done it, and this is probably the framework that I would follow. Where were you in the beginning of something? What did you do to overcome the thing, or what were you doing during the thing? And then what was the end result? And what this will do is it will create a sort of authentic buy-in from your customers because they see the whole progression of the story. It's the beginning and the middle and the end, right? So where were you? What were you doing to overcome the challenge, or what were you doing to go through the day and through the story or whatever epiphany you had? And then what was the end result of it? That'll create the social proof. It'll create the buy-in, and it'll create that authenticity, and it'll give you an opportunity to share your story. And I think that as a CEO, one of the number one skills that you could develop is learning how to tell your story in a way that's going to inspire people and get them ready to take action. And I think that this is a great way to give you the opportunity to do that. You're telling your day-to-day and week-to-week stories. Super underrated skill that I think a lot of people should have. So I just went over a lot of information about how I think you should document your journey. Whether you're starting out or you're an established business, this is one of the most under-leveraged things on social media right now. It creates authenticity. When everybody can sit in front of a camera and preach at people and tell them what they should be doing, if you go out there and you start documenting what you do instead to create that authentic trust, you will win. Because business is not about winning in the next couple months. Business is about who can outlast their competitors. And if you want to outlast, it's important to build a brand that can last decades, not days. So buy into this process, document your journey. And the last point that I would make to really try to drive it home on why this is so important. Imagine that you commit to this process. Imagine that once a week you have a videographer follow you around. Imagine you record yourself and give your day-to-day breakdown of what's happened. 10 to 15 years from now, I'm not even going to go that far, 5, 10, 15 years from now, maybe even a year from now, you'll be able to go look back and see where you were. But more importantly, your family will be able to go and look back and see where you were. You will be able to. Your team will be able to see your progression and your journey, which will create more buy-in to your company. It's all about crafting this legacy. And looking back on that content, there is no better feeling than seeing your journey progress into who you are today. So I want to challenge you to document your journey, talk about what you're doing, create that trust with your customers, and more importantly, create that legacy that's going to last you a very long time. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below. I'm happy to answer them. I hope you guys found some value in this. I know I was just kind of spitballing. I'm trying to be more authentic in my content and not just preach at you guys, but really talk to you about the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm going through as well, and the things that I wish I knew when I first started my business 965 days ago, aka almost 3 years now. So hope you guys got value from it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.